This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by the brilliant Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you?
I am super excited for our guest today, Bree. She has written a new children's book that we were just talking beforehand, and the children's book made me tear up at the end, and it made me cry. And
I'm verklempt, so verklempt.
It's funny because I think that you and I both, we talk about being in this stage of our life. I'm approaching perimenopause and you're there. And I know that my emotions will go up and down a lot. Even more so, I feel like, than when I was in pregnancy stages.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So when you hear a touching story and it affects you so hard. So I'm really excited to get into this. We're going to be talking about all things motherhood. We're going to be talking about her new book, but let me introduce who we have with us today. It is Katherine Schwarzenegger Pratt. She is a New York Times bestselling author, mother, and host of the podcast BDA Baby. A passionate animal advocate, Katherine works as an ambassador for Best Friends Animal Society and the ASPCA. She is a global ambassador for the Special Olympics, and she lives with her family in Los Angeles. She also has a new children's book releasing today, Kat and Brandy, that you should rush out today, buy right now, and let's get on with the show. Welcome to the podcast, Katherine. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You have this wonderful window behind you with such sunny weather and looks out on trees. And I have to say I'm a little jealous because I'm here in my basement and look to a window well. And it looks so pretty where you are.
I mean, that's nice, but it's actually raining. So I'm glad that you think that it looks so pretty because it's a stormy day here.
It's a stormy day here in Phoenix as well. Joanne and I were talking about the light and I'm like, you're in your little basement dungeon and you're having issues with the light. And I'm here, my first floor, I have 4 windows and they all are dark because it's just dark. We never get rain in Phoenix that often. So, and I don't think
we don't get it much in LA, but it's definitely a humid, it's 85 degrees and raining outside. So I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. And I think with us, we're all what are we supposed to do with that? What is this stuff coming from the sky? I don't know.
I used to live in LA and I remember every time it rained, everyone forgot how to drive. There'd be so many accidents and it'd be insane on the road. Crazy. Katherine, I was digging into a little bit about you today and listening to other podcast interviews you did. And something you said stuck with me because you're an oldest child and I'm an older child too. And you described being an older child as you want the control and also how it kind of affects the parenting of your children. And I was wondering in this, do you as an older child have the sympathy for your oldest, but then also see what your younger children now have to deal with in terms of the sibling dynamics? Because that's something I've seen in my parenting.
Yeah. I mean, I liked when you said that you want the control, but you have the control as the oldest. So it's not you want it and also you have it because you're the oldest. So I'm what's, I guess, seems to be a unique oldest child because I truly love being the oldest. I know that recently, I think in the past 2 years, there have been all of these articles that everyone has sent me about people writing all of these articles that do deep dives into the plight of the oldest child, how terrible it is to be the oldest, all the responsibility,
the oldest daughter syndrome. I see a lot right now.
The oldest daughter thing. It's so bad. It's just so much pressure to put on a kid. And they have so much responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And I read every single one and I was but I love that. I've loved my role as the oldest child in my family. And I've loved it from the beginning. I've loved it as a child. I've loved it as an adult. I always loved organizing my siblings. I still do it now as a 35-year-old. I love being the responsible one. I love organizing things. I love setting things up. I like being watching my mom for guidance with everything and then reinstalling like all of her rules and like making sure that they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Like I loved that growing up. I still love it. And my oldest daughter, Lila, is to the T a typical oldest child.
Oh,
like
yeah.
she is every single thing those articles talk about of like an oldest child having or a characteristic or a trait or whatever, she has it. And she acts exactly the way that I acted growing up. And she is a similar age difference to my second daughter, Eloise, that my sister and I are. And then it's the same age difference to my next, who's my son Ford, that we are to Patrick, my first brother. And so the age dynamic between my three kids is pretty much the same as the first three in my family. And the similarities between the three of them already are like fascinating.
It's interesting because we were talking about this. We have a balanced community, and I was live in the community this morning, and we were talking about whether these ways we are, such as like being the oldest child, how you like the control, you like the organization. We were specifically talking about kind of like this negative self-talk that some of us like to give ourselves. Not like to, but we do.
Some of us tend to. Yeah.
Tend to. And whether the way we are is passed down from our parents or is like more genetic. And I was wondering, is your mom also an oldest child?
No, she's the second. She has an older brother and then three younger brothers. So there's 5 in her family, but she's one of 4 boys.
She is the oldest daughter.
She's the oldest daughter. Yeah, she's the oldest and only daughter in her family, but she's not the oldest child.
I have to come speak up here for the babies. I'm the baby of my family. And I am turning 46 in a couple of weeks, and I am still the baby. I'm still the baby. Like,
100%.
like you said, how you like to still kind of help wrangle in your siblings. My 2 older sisters, they unintentionally play the big sister card with me constantly. So I'm just here to tell you all that also I would believe too, because of the fact that I am the baby. And my mom was not the baby. Neither was my dad. I fit the youngest sibling to a T. So I think that's definitely it's who I am. At 46, my family still doesn't expect me to bring anything to Thanksgiving except for cups and paper and napkins and plates. Yeah. Like that is it.
But that's okay. That's like,
I don't mind. I kind of like it. I kind of get to coast. And I appreciate all the work my sister carries for me.
So. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my youngest brother, Christopher, is definitely the best one in our whole family. And he's the chillest, calmest. Anyone who's like, oh, I'm so excited to meet your younger brother, whatever. I'm like, he's the best one out of all of us. Like, he's just like, I mean, he's the best human being. Him and I are 8 years apart, but he's very much like in my mind, still my baby. Like I was 8 years older. So like I had his diaper bag packed. I had his outfits laid out. My husband's always like, you got to let him, because he has an amazing girlfriend now. And he's like, you got to hand that over to the girlfriend. I'm like, we can do it together. It's fine. But my husband's the youngest in his family. So I always think it's interesting when like an oldest marries a youngest.
Yeah. That's what I have. My husband is the oldest of 5 and I'm the youngest of 3. Yeah. It is very interesting, that dynamic. For sure.
Yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah. My husband and I are 2 oldest, so we both like to be in charge and in control. He lets me do most of the things. He's just along for the ride. Yeah. I'm the adventure one. Something that's really cool in your dynamic with your siblings, Katherine, is that you have this like care with each other. You don't have this competition with each other. And that is something that is definitely like passed down through generations. Because I look at like you talking about your younger brother being 8 years younger than you are. I have a younger sister who's 7 years younger. And all attempts I have made to take care of her like that, she is like pushed away. All of these things. So just looking at the sibling dynamics, I used to be very, very in competition with my younger sister because both of my parents, my mom was a baby, my dad was an only. And they would always tell me as the oldest, you have to set the example. You have to like do all the things.
A lot of pressure. Yeah.
Without any real.
My parents did that too.
Oh my
You did that. Yeah. They did that too. Do you feel like that installed a sense of like kind of responsibility in you, or did you feel any pressure from that?
I didn't feel pressure from it. I felt like it was a big responsibility for sure. But it's funny because I think people often ask me, do you feel pressure to do certain things coming from your family? Do you feel pressure from your parents? Do you feel pressure with your family legacy or your name and everything? And I think you can look at it two different ways. Like you feel pressure in a negative way, or you feel responsibility to do great things. And I really gravitated towards, okay, I'm the oldest, so I have the responsibility to set a good example for my 3 younger siblings, or, I come from this amazing family. I'm not going to like let it paralyze me. I'm going to look at it and say like how inspiring all of those people are and are in my family doing amazing things. I'm going to use that to also inspire me to do great things and make the world a better place. So I think it really depends on your mindset with how you look at things like responsibility, because you can look at it in a negative way, or you can look at it as like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky I have that responsibility. Now let me go and do something with it. Or you can look at it like, gosh, that's so much. It's paralyzing to me. It's debilitating. I don't want to do anything, so I think it really depends on like the mindset and the framework around it.
This is so fascinating, Katherine, because I'm seeing a difference in the mindset that you have and the mindset that I have struggled to get that mindset. And I want to dig into it deeper right after this.
I am so excited about this, Joanne. I've been eyeing the skylight frame as a gift for my parents, and honestly, I think it's quite genius.
Yeah, same. It's a digital photo frame you can send pictures to, and they show up instantly. No apps, no subscriptions, just email a photo and boom, it pops up right on the frame.
I love that because apps are not my parents' strong point, and I love the idea of preloading it with special moments. So when they unwrap it, it's already filled with all the pictures of, me, their lovely grandchildren, birthdays, vacations. It's basically a hug in a photo frame.
I think I would like preload it with pictures of me so my parents remember that I'm their child first and not their grandkids. But setup takes under a minute, even for the non-tech savvy people in your life. Plus, you can keep sending new photos anytime. It's like always showing up even when you're far away. Right now, Skylight is offering our listeners $20 off their 10-inch frames by going to myskylight.com/NGM. Go to myskylight.com/NGM for $20 off your 10-inch frame. That's myskylight.com/NGM. What if your child could learn in a way that actually works for them, not just the way a traditional classroom says they should?
That's the promise of K-12 Powered Schools. It's a tuition-free, accredited online public school that tailors learning to your students' strengths and interests, whether they're in kindergarten or 12th grade.
Their certified teachers are trained specifically for online instruction and use interactive tools and hands-on tech to keep kids engaged and growing.
And the best part, you can make the switch anytime. There is no waiting for next year or next semester. If your kid needs a change, you can start right now and set them up for success. See why more than 3 million families have chosen K-12 to empower their students. Go to k12.com/NGM today and learn more. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/NGM. k12.com/NGM.
Okay, can we admit something for a second? I avoided my finances for way too long. Not because I didn't care, but because I just didn't have the mental energy between work, kids, and everything else. Figuring out money just felt like another full-time job.
Same here. That's why Monarch has been such a relief, because it links all of your accounts in minutes, and suddenly you can see it all. The spending, the savings, what needs attention. It's all right there. Feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or on your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year with code NOGUILT at monarch.com.
And the best part, no spreadsheets, no complicated setup. It's actually designed for people like us who are busy, they're tired, and trying to make smart decisions without spiraling into a shame spiral we know so well over here. So if you've been putting this off, this is your sign. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code NOGUILT at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code NOGUILT. So right before the break, Katherine, you were talking about how you could choose to see things in a positive way or a negative way. Have you struggled in the past ever with negative self-talk and a negative mindset that you had to work your way out of?
For sure. I mean, I think especially as women and when you're a young girl, you definitely, or I should say, I definitely growing up was somebody who would sit in front of a mirror and like pick myself apart. And I think we all at certain times in life have negative self-talk. And I think it's all about how you can work yourself out of those moments. As I've gotten older, I would say that I work my way out of it like through probably what would make most people feel like uncomfortable humor. I have found that to be like very helpful for me. My sister makes me laugh like nobody can. And so her and I will sit and kind of do like negative self-talk together and then pop out of it. But I think you kind of have to figure out like what works best for you to navigate yourself out of it so you don't sit in it. That's to me the biggest thing. And I think I did kind of a deep dive into that when I wrote one of my books I wrote called The Gift of Forgiveness. And I did like a deep dive into just the subject of forgiveness and how it's not something that you can just like for most people that you say like I'm going to practice forgiveness and you're good for the rest of your life, but it's something that is like a daily journey or a daily battle that a lot of people have setbacks for. And I always was talking to people about how when you go back to feeling anger or feeling like you can't forgive, how you work yourself out of sitting in that so you don't just sit in that negativity or sit in that heaviness. And I think it's really the same with like negative self-talk. It's like, how do you acknowledge it being there, allow yourself to feel it or experience it, and then work your way out of it? And I think that's the case for a lot of emotions. I learned a lot from my mom about that. I would say like as a young woman about negative self-talk, my mom always would have moments of having negative self-talk and then quickly like snap out of it.
And you would watch her do this? She made this kind of model this for you?
I mean, my mom and I are super close and we're all close in our family together. I would say my mom and my dad really taught us a huge amount by leading by example, because I think that that's really what kids pick up on is like you can tell them so many things, but if you like lead by example, it's totally different.
Yeah.
I watched my mom have moments of like having negative self-talk, or even I would say my dad definitely, I don't think I've ever seen him have negative self-talk. He's always been like somebody who just is like, you got to pump yourself up and fire yourself up like nobody else can.
Yeah.
So that was also like a great thing to witness and also a fascinating thing to witness, because I'm just like, how do you never, and I'm sure in his own mind he does occasionally, but he just is like, you have to think that you are the best to get to where he's gotten, and that's worked for him. It's obviously easier said than done, but I think as women, it's something that I'm very mindful of with my daughters.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you've already sold me on The Gift of Forgiveness. As soon as we are done, I am going on Amazon to purchase that because, as all of our listeners know, I think at this point, Brie has some issues with forgiveness. I need to get through that. So I need to like be able to acknowledge that and move on. So
pretty much everyone does. So you're in a good situation.
Right.
Even like forgiving yourself for things that you've done in the past or you've shown up in the past. Something that I had a hard time when I entered motherhood, the overwhelm of it all, the things that I wanted to be to my kids, the amount of tasks that I saw on the table, that I think I really entered that space of negative self-talk where I'm like, oh my gosh, there's just so much to be done and so many things like that I'm failing at, that I'm not doing. How do you navigate that overwhelm of motherhood, Katherine? How do you view it?
I would say a couple things. One is I implemented last summer when I was pregnant with my third, I implemented having the practice of TM, which is transcendental meditation.
Yes. Oh my gosh. One of our friends of the podcast, Dr. Bill Stixrud, also practices TM, transcendental meditation. So tell us more about that.
So last summer, I was pregnant and my two daughters, we were somewhere over the summer and I was with my mom and my sister. And I was like in the chaos of the day with like my 2-year-old and my 3.5-year-old and very pregnant, hot in the summer, painting the whole picture.
It's a lot of physical stress right there.
Yeah. One evening I was like getting them bathed in their pajamas and, doing the whole thing and just like kind of tapped out. And I was sitting downstairs with my mom and my sister, and my sister was like, it was like almost like they had an intervention with me, but they were like, you have known since you were born that you wanted to be a mom. Mm-hmm. You have always looked forward to it, which is true because everybody always made fun of me when I was growing up. They're like, you're 40 years old when I was like in high school, because I was like, I don't vibe with all of this. Like in college, I went out like a total of maybe 5 or 6 times my whole college experience. Like I just did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't vibe with it at all. I always felt way older than I was. I was like very interested in going to bed early and waking up early and loved having responsibility.
And Bree was hiding in the bushes from the cops at a Kager on the first day of college. See, babies have no worries. We know it's all going to work out somehow.
Yeah, I know. So I was just like in the kind of craziness of like the day. And my sister was like, you've known you want to be a mom for so long. And like, you have this beautiful family and, you're having another baby. And like, you don't seem right now that you're really enjoying the present moment. And you don't seem like you're having fun. It's something really only a sister can say to you. Cause I was like, excuse me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
she was like,
come from close.
You just don't seem like you're enjoying this. And it's like, you have so much to enjoy. And I was like, okay, you're right. I need to implement something in my daily practice that allows me to be mothering and also just showing up in the different roles that I'm lucky enough to be in life in a positive and also calm way. So I'm not as reactive, because I would have like a temper tantrum here, from my kids. And I would then like react. And I'm like, wait a second, they're not calming down. I've read a lot about kids and co-regulation and how important it is as the parent to be calm and allow them, they regulate based off of you. And so I started doing TM, and it's been incredible for me and allowed me to really regulate in a totally different way and show up to the role of mother and wife and daughter and friend and author and like so many different roles in a very calm way. And so I think that that's probably like one of the most important things for me, to not sit in the overwhelm. I have days where I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get all of this done for sure. I try to have a sense of humor about it. And it also helps that when I vent to my husband about it, he also has a sense of humor about it. Yeah. And at the same time is really amazing at acknowledging the mother load that we have. I feel like a lot of it sometimes, at least for me, is all of the chaos of getting all this stuff done and being like, oh my God, I have so much to do, or so much that I've been doing already. And then just having someone like your partner or whoever it is acknowledge all of it.
Yeah. It's big.
It's like, okay, I can keep doing this. That helps me with when Chris says to me, like, you're doing such a great job, you're going to get it done. Whatever you don't get done, it's okay. How can I help you? And, so that to me is like, I know that I'm really lucky to have that. And there are plenty of days also where I call on my mom and sister. Like, I live on the same street as my mom. So I'm like, Mom, the girls are coming over.
I love that.
And my brothers also help out. They're like, they play with the kids all the time. So I'll call my dad and I'll be like, I'm sending my kids over with Auntie. I call her Auntie, but my sister. So I'm really lucky that I have family to lean on in that way. But I get overwhelmed all the time. I just try to practice some deep breathing.
And that's amazing that your sister called you out like that, and that you guys have the relationship where you like trusted her and you're like, I need to make a change in my life to do something. It is really inspiring to hear. It also motivates me kind of to hold the people in my life to that standard too, like seeing the stress and how you had the stress and you took actions to alleviate your own stress instead of thinking that it's beyond your control. I think that's a really cool lesson to take from it too. We're going to talk about your writing and especially the new book you have coming out today. So we'll do that right after this.
DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse, is the one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW has what you need, but more importantly, they have what you didn't even know you wanted. You never know what you'll find at DSW. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
Greetings from my bath, festive friends. The holidays are overwhelming, but I'm tackling this season with PayPal and making the most of my money. Getting 5% cash back when I pay in 4. No fees, no interest. I used it to get this portable spa with jets. Now the bubbles can cling to my sculpted but pruny body. Make the most of your money this holiday with PayPal. Save the offer in the app.
Ends 12/31. See paypal.com/promo terms. Points can be redeemed for cash and more. Pay in full subject to terms and approval. PayPal Inc. and MLS 910457.
Is it getting hot in here? Nah, girl. It's just the menopause. Introducing Weight Watchers for Menopause. Now with medical experts trained in perimenopause and menopause. Clinicians and coaches to guide a tailored nutrition program and access to medications like GLP-1s and hormone replacement therapy to target menopausal weight gain. Get the care you deserve. Join us today at WeightWatchers.com.
Medication requires a prescription. Not all customers will qualify. See site for important safety info and additional details.
So, Katherine, you have so much that you're doing in your life, including your writing. Your new book, Kat and Brandy, is about a personal story in your life with your horse. And I was wondering, like, as reading the book, it's about Kat, and I'm assuming that it's all the events in the book are pretty much aligned with your life and your experience.
A lot of them are. I mean, the relationship that is in the book between Kat and her pony Brandy is definitely based off of my best friend growing up that happened to be a horse. And so it's definitely based off of that. But really, for me, I took a lot of moments and inspiration from my own experience growing up and overcoming fears and being scared of something and really working my way through that. Through having the healing power of animals present in my life. And this book is really to shine a light on the healing power of animals, whatever animal it is. It can be a rabbit, a fish, a dog, a cat, a horse. It can be whatever that is for you. But really how beneficial that is for us at all phases of life and how much I feel lucky to have been in the presence of animals to help me work through my fears. And this is really a story about courage, about bravery, about a young girl really working through her fear to be brave and to try something new, and also shining a light on the power of a shared experience between a mother and a daughter. Yeah, so a lot of it I took from my real life, and then some of it is storytelling.
Well, it's excellent storytelling because, as I mentioned to you before the interview, like I cried at the end.
You know, that's so sweet. That makes me so happy. And also, I'm sorry you cried, but I'm really, I'm happy that, I'm happy that it had that impact on you, because a lot of the time I reflect on, I think anybody who has had an experience with an animal, it's like this unspoken bond that animals don't care what you look like. They don't care what you do for your work. They don't care how much money you make or what you've done that day that you think is so great. Animals really love you and pay attention to you for just who you are. And you can't fake it with an animal. And so I think what I'm sure also made you emotional about the book is just like, if you yourself have been blessed to have that experience with an animal or have that gift be in your life, it's an emotional one for sure. Because I often am like, we're so lucky to be in the presence of these creatures that just like love us for who we are and calm us down and give us this sense of peace that we really can't get anywhere else. And also being able to do that as you're young and learning about yourself and like how you work through your fears and how you show up to certain things or tap into your inner bravery or courage. It's an emotional thing for sure.
It is an emotional thing. And I think what I identified with it is like my current dog is a rescue who there's a parallel in your story where the horse Brandy, she definitely had something happen to her with the big scar on her face. And where you mentioned it helps you with your bravery, there was a situation when we first got my dog where she would be so, I guess, like stimulated or reactive that she would attack my other dog. And there were these situations where we had to break up fights. It showed me a resolve that I didn't even know I had of how I could deal with a traumatic thing in my house where two animals I loved were being hurt and then come out the other side of it. So I totally agree that animals can show you a bravery that you never knew you had. I'm curious, Kat and Brandy story, like Kat manages to win over the horse. Was that in your real life or was that a storytelling element?
That was definitely real. I first met Brandy totally by coincidence at the barn one day. She was there, had nothing to do with me at all. And I saw the scar on her face and of course was like interested and curious about like what happened there. How did that happen? And it didn't really come with like a lot of backstory about what had happened, but I was told, you know, she's not the friendliest pony. She's really head shy. She doesn't let anybody touch her head. She's very skittish. And normally you'd kind of as like a kid be like, okay, we don't need to go there. But of course I was like,
tell me more. Yeah, right?
I would be like, there is a challenge right there for me.
And I would be like, there is a story I want to hear.
Yeah, it was more like there's a story there that I wanted to learn more about, which probably comes from just like watching my mom interview literally every single person that we come in contact with, because she's just like the most curious person ever. So I had some interactions with her and kept being told, if you want to compete in horseback riding and you want to show horses, this is not the pony for you, because she's not going to be considered to be beautiful to look at. And she's really like head shy and she's just not, this is not where you want to plant your time and energy. And I was like, this is exactly where I want to plant my time and energy.
That's so heartbreaking. Yeah.
So I spent a ton of time just like trying to spend time with her and get her to trust me, and then also have me trust her so I could ride her and learn to ride on her. And it took a lot of time, took a lot of practice, but after a lot of that, just being present with each other, she let me touch her whole face. She let me brush her face, just like everything that I had been told would never be able to happen with her. And that gave me a huge amount of confidence at a very young age, for sure. And also, now that I'm older and I know a lot about equine therapy and animal therapy, it's like I gave myself a course in equine therapy.
Right? I mean, like, okay, I just had to like throw that in there because my nephew has struggled with mental health his whole life. And like animals have been amazing therapeutically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we joke that my dog is a therapy dog because he just, if you're having a tough day, he just curls up right next to you.
They know.
And
they know.
Right? They know. They know. And then if I see him acting more anxious or rambunctious, then I know that I'm displaying an anxious attitude, which, hey, that's Brie like what? 75% of the time. So yeah, animals, not only, like you said, do they bring this great experience in relationships and being able to care for others, but it also just really brings that calming, almost like the co-regulation that we talk about with our kids.
Yeah.
We can learn that so well from animals.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure. I mean, it's why you have like why people have service animals or emotional support animals, and it's also why equine therapy has been as successful as it has been. And whatever the animal is, I think just being able to have that be in your life is such a huge gift, and definitely gives you a sense of calm when you're in the presence of an animal that is just like interested in picking up what your energy is and wanting it to be as calm as possible.
Yeah. Well, it is a beautiful story, and your book releases today. So go out and grab it wherever you get your books. Katherine, we like to end every podcast episode like this on a really high note. What is something in your life right now that you're really excited about?
I mean, this book, honestly, like I mean, I really feel like I'm so excited about this book coming out, just to be able to talk to people about overcoming fears, how important that is to be teaching to kids at a very early age. And it's something I always keep in mind when I'm writing a book is like, I think now in a totally different way as a mom and doing story time so much, like what are the conversations that are going to come from families reading this book? And I was really mindful and thought a lot about the words that I used, the storytelling in this book, and really telling it in a way where natural conversations can come up for families to have discussions about what it means to be afraid of something. How do you overcome those fears? What does it mean to have an animal or care for an animal? The responsibility that goes into that. Having a shared activity that you can do with a child or a parent and a caregiver, whatever that looks like. And also how you can take the time to work towards being brave and being courageous and overcoming those fears. And having those conversations with your kids is so important. And I hope that there are natural prompts in this book to have those. So this book can really be one that is read over and over again and becomes part of people's story time routine and bedtime routine, like it has in our house. And to also be able to look at the most beautiful pictures that are in this book, because Petra Brown did an incredible job at that as well. So that's what I'm excited about.
I can tell you as an early childhood educator, I love that because there aren't enough diverse stories that are easy for people to come by. So just like Katherine said, if you guys are looking for something that can not only be a great story for your kids, but spark important conversations that you want to have, this is definitely a great way to do that. Kat and Brandy, I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katherine, so much for joining us today. It has really been a delight to talk with you, and you have been so giving, and it's just a wonderful conversation. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me. It was so nice to talk to both of you, and thank you for getting emotional about Kat and Brandy. And just, I'm hoping everybody goes and get it. Thank you.
Yes. And for everyone out there, remember that the best mom is a happy mom. So take care of you, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You can also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.